Welcome to Roof It Up. This is a podcast about innovators, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and their stories about the course they took by Saenz Global.
Hello. Welcome to Roof It Up. Today I'm really excited because we have a lot of roofing contractors on the show, but today we actually have an expert when it comes to the PA world. So super excited to have Vince Perri. If you are hearing this name, you most likely know who he is, as he's very well known in the industry. So Vince, we're super excited to be here, that you're here. So thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited.
Give us a recap, like who are you? And then let's get kicked off on some questions that we have for you.
Yeah, so I'm a licensed public adjuster. I've been a public adjuster for over 15 years now. I've been doing it for a long time. And, it's something that I've always been very passionate about. I actually got into it as a tennis instructor. I went to college for tennis. And after I got out of college, I was looking for a job, and what better job to have when you're 19, 20 years old than being out on a tennis court, hitting tennis balls. Had a lot of students, adults, kids, and all kinds of stuff. So I've always been a teacher at heart. And then I started teaching somebody who was able to come to a private lesson with me at like $75 an hour. He'd come twice during the week in the morning and bring his kids for their own private lesson twice in the evening. I'm like, where do you find the time and the money for this just extracurricular activity? And he tells me that he's a public adjuster. And I'm like, what the hell is a public adjuster? Did some research, and my dream had always been to actually be a sports agent. That was my ultimate dream. Tried to do the whole LSAT thing. I'm not a very much of a school person, and I decided probably 3 years in law school and having to pass a board and having to deal with all that stuff, probably not the direction I'd want to go in at the time. So I found a website that actually compared a public adjuster to a sports agent. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because you represent your client and you negotiate against the big company, the big business, the insurance company, to try to get your client as much money as possible. So that's it. After that, I was hooked. I was sold. And, honestly, kind of the rest is history. And then I read a great book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about 10,000 hours of practice. If you're 10,000 hours of practice, or approximately 10 years in anything, you can become an expert. So I read that book like around year 7. And I'm like, ooh, I can't wait. I feel like the book is accurate because I feel like I know a lot, but I don't feel like an expert yet. I bet you by year 10, I'll feel like an expert. So come fast forward year 10 or 11, I was like, all right, I started calling myself an expert to like in my BNI and stuff like that. And I had a YouTube channel with my wife, a travel channel. We're travel enthusiasts. We've been to pretty much every continent around the world. And I started a travel vlog. Really just wanted to get into that, just to, make some extra income somehow, some way with creating this YouTube channel. So I learned how to shoot film. I learned how to edit film, and I learned how to do thumbnails. I learned the whole world of YouTube, but it really wasn't getting anywhere until I read another book called Gary V's book, Crushing It. And he starts talking about just how you become an expert in your industry, the new way of promoting, the new way of marketing and doing all this. And I kept trying to think of ways to do it for the travel channel. Like, how can I sell photography? How can I sell my videos? How can I offer my services? And then I'm like, wait a minute. I've been a public adjuster for 12 years. I could just teach about claims. Then the idea came to just sit behind my desk with a camera in front, shoot it, edit it, post it, and let's see what happens with that. Thought about 3 times a week, thought about 2 times a week, but you know how difficult it is to create that much content. So I was like, you know what? Every Wednesday, Content Wednesday, I'm going to make sure no matter what, we're going to come out with a show. We came out with a show, and again, that just turned into a whole other thing. And, I get the reaction that I get from public adjusters anytime we have one of our events, or if I go to a conference and I see other public adjusters there, they're constantly coming up to me and just telling me, you're the reason why I became a public adjuster. You're the reason why I became a roofing contractor and I'm in the industry. You're the reason why I was able to pass my test. Thank you so much. Because there is like nothing there for our industry. And I really was able to hit a niche, and it's become very, very rewarding. And then, I don't teach tennis anymore, but fast track, now I'm back to teaching again, with the course and with the videos and with all this stuff. So it's funny how sometimes things come full circle. But that's my story. That's kind of where I am now.
I love it. Okay, so just to recap, you're teaching tennis, and I think that this happens. Like you're like, this person is doing something that I would love to do. Like they have time and they have money. And what the heck do they do? Right. And so then the answer was, hey, public adjuster. You're like, what the heck is a public adjuster? And then the
Right.
story just goes from there. So it's really cool how you, how you've implemented the power of reading. Billionaires, multimillionaires, they share like 99% of all of their tricks and knowledge because they know that only 1% of the people ever reading it or listening will ever apply it. So, you know, that mentality that back in the days, like, don't tell people or they're going to be your competition. They know that it's very unlikely that they will become competition whatsoever. So it's cool to see like the power of like when you take books that really speak so much like how you can really change your life, your business, and actually run with it. It's super powerful. Like, I love how you were vlogging. Is that channel still up? Like the vlogs with you and your wife, is that still up? Totally want to check that out.
Make it work and travel. That's the name of it. The idea behind that was she had a full-time job. I had a full-time job, but we're still finding the time to make it work and travel around the world. And that's, yeah, it's got like 300, 400 subscribers. It's pretty cool. It's good to look back. And I still, every time we travel, which is not nearly as often as it should be, but I'll shoot some video. I'll run like a quick edit, you know, or I'll put it through one of those things and I'll post it. Like I think, did I put the whale shark? I don't know if I posted that, but we went to Mexico recently and we went snorkeling with the whale sharks, and I posted a quick, cool little video, and it should be up there as well.
That's awesome. So definitely going to check that out because we're all about traveling as well. My husband, my kids, and I. Okay, cool. So, Vince, so what is your relationship with the Public Adjuster Handbook? That'd be great.
Yeah. So again, the start of that was, how do I turn my service into a product? To take you behind the curtain, that's how the idea initially started, right? Was another book, a 4-Hour Work Week, if I could strongly recommend, but a 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. You know, he says, if you have a service and you want to travel and you want to create it to a product, you have to create it to either educational platform, a book, or whatever. So I'd always wanted to write a book. So I started the YouTube channel. That, you know, that sort of took off. We started doing some courses, but we wanted to give some material. So I literally sat down one week and created this thing right here. I wrote this thing from A to Z. It's not like, I wouldn't call it like an Amazon book. It's definitely a handbook. It's sort of my way of learning, with just, you know, short paragraphs, bullet points, things that you need to have in your file, things that you need to, how to properly take the photos, you know, how to properly follow up with the insurance company, how often. Like, it's a handbook. It's really just instructions on how you should properly sort of set up your claim and how you should properly work the entire claim from A to Z, and sort of what to do to close off your claim. It literally takes you through the claims process from A to Z, as does the course. So it goes hand in hand with the course that we have.
Okay, that's awesome. So this is specifically if you are listening to this and you're like, I've wanted to get into public adjusting, or I am a public adjuster and I really need to, I know that there's a better way to do it, or I know that there is a more streamlined process. You can actually go to Vince, and Vince, I'll let you shout out like the location where they can go on there as well. But like, there's a whole handbook and like a course. And I think one of the best ways, I know for our company, for our growth, which we were able to 3x last year, was because we invested in coaching. We invested in things that are going to give back, like there's an ROI. So you can get to wherever you want to get, and it can take really long, and you could figure it out all yourself and probably like fall and hit your head several times. Or you can invest in something that, yeah, it's an investment in the beginning, but the ROI is so much because you can get where you want to go a lot faster. And I feel like that's probably what you are providing PAs, right? Like, I can provide you the knowledge that you need to have a really successful business and really successful career. And you don't have to do all the wrong things that maybe you had to go through in your years. And I'm going to show you like what direction you should go. Is that pretty much what that's about, right?
Yep, pretty much. It's the claims process from A to Z. We do have plans on coming out with a handbook for marketing for public adjusters. We do have plans on coming out with a handbook for actually starting your public adjusting firm and how to be successful with that. This one here is really just about the claim itself, how you proper document the claim, and how you properly work the claim from A to Z.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Okay, so question, what is like the biggest misconception about insurance claims and why?
I would say, I think the biggest misconception is that it's easy to work a claim. I
Yeah.
think people think that, and maybe it's the way it used to be, although, the insurance company has always sort of made our lives difficult, which you can't blame them. It's a business. They're not, I always tell people where, Thais, if I was going to just ask you for money, you're going to ask why.
Right.
And you're going to
Absolutely.
ask, what is it for? So,
Yeah.
providing the proper proof, documentation, evidence is so important, and now more than ever,
Mhm.
that it's the only way the insurance company is going to pay. But I think the biggest misconception about people that work insurance claims and people that get into the insurance claim industry is that it's easy. Hey, this is great. Where's my sales pitch? I don't have to charge you any money because the insurance company is just going to pay. Yes, that's
Right.
the idea in a nutshell, but we have to convince the insurance company of paying as well. So we can't just go ahead and hop on a roof, find damage, and present the claim and expect to get paid. No,
Right.
you need to find evidence as to when that damage actually occurred to that roof. What was the specific date? What exactly happened? We're going to sit down and talk to the client. We have to ask him questions as well. So, it's a whole process. It's a lot that goes into properly submitting a claim so that the claim does ultimately get paid, because if not, you're just going to be turning your wheels and you're not going to get
Right.
any payments on any claims.
Yeah. So like back to having to do your due diligence. I
Yep.
love the example that you gave. If you're going to go ask for money, they're going to say why. That
Of
no one's just
course.
going to give you money. Even your own parents, when you were a kid growing up, like, hey, can I get money? Why? Like, what are you going to use it for?
Right.
What's it going towards? And so it's very interesting how you said that the misconception can be like, oh, it's such an easy process. It's so easy to get paid, and that might be something that there is other PA companies that are maybe coaching other PAs that maybe that's like a lie that they tell them, right? Like, oh, this is a really fast way for you to make money.
Right.
And that's if you're hearing this and that is the marketing pitch that you are receiving, run, because whoever is saying that is you're not going to do well. So you want to learn
Well,
from
I
the best.
I always said there's no such thing as easy money either, right? I've learned
Yes.
that in my days in business, where it's like, you got this great business idea, you're just going to get into it, you're going to make a whole bunch of money. And every time I would get into that business idea, it was so much harder than I thought it was.
Oh yeah,
And
like
that's just the way it is.
multi-level marketing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that too.
We won't go into there, but that's one of the things, the pitches there. Okay, cool. So what is the goal you want to achieve by the end of Q4, like Q4 in 2023? Like, what are some goals personally, like if it's personal or your business, like, and the reason we ask this question is because you have a really successful business. And some people, when they're in their beginning stages of a business, they let time control them, right? They don't have a plan. They don't have a Q1, a Q2, a Q3, a Q4 plan. They're not forecasting for what's ahead. And they just kind of take the life as it goes. And so what we've known, right, from seeing successful businesses is that you're already planning for Q4 of this year, right? You already have, you're forecasting what's ahead. You have a plan and a mission and a goal for your team. And so, kind of maybe what, you don't have to share everything, but like maybe what's
Yeah.
something that you're planning there, if that's family or business, but also like what do you personally do in your business to really prep for a really successful year coming up?
So I've got a lot. We got a lot of goals. We follow the EOS model, the employee operating system, an
Mhm.
entrepreneur operating system model, which is you have your 10-year goals, you have your 3-year goals, you have your 1-year goals, and you break those 1-year goals down to 3-month goals, which is basically quarter goals. And then
Mhm.
you have your weekly scorecard as well, that you have to hit your weekly scorecard in order to get to your quarterly goals to get to your yearly goals, and all that fun stuff that you talked
Yeah.
about. But by the end of Q4, by the end of 2023, so it's two businesses, right? Commercial Claims Advocate is a business of its own, and then Elite Resolutions is the public adjusting firm. And we've got a ton of goals. I write them pretty much every day. One thing that I could, strongly recommend to your audience is write your goals every single day.
Oh, that's
And just a quick
powerful.
tip also is I actually write them as if they've already occurred. I write
Oh,
them like if they're
boom.
done.
Yes. Okay. Powerful.
Um,
And why,
so
wait, let's stop there. Like, why do you do
sure.
that? Why do you not write your goal as if it's something to come, but you write your goal as it's something that has already happened? What's
I
the
think it's a
mindset
mindset.
towards that?
I think it's a mindset thing. Like, it's already done. It's already occurred. So when people are just like, oh, like you're doing so well, like imagine how you're going to be. It's like, no, that's already done. Like, it's already completed. I've already accomplished it. And I also have learned from the very controversial Grant Cardone that don't sell yourself short on your goals too. I think I've already convinced my employees, like, I don't know, let's say we want to sell whatever. Let's say we want to sell 1,000 books. No, we want to sell 10,000 books. Like, it's not worry about not accomplishing the 10,000. What's more important is everything you're going to accomplish in the efforts to get to the 10,000. So we may or we may not hit 10,000, but what happens is if you set your goals out so out there, that, you know, even you may feel it can't happen, and you strive and you thrive and you do everything you can to try to get to those goals, what happens is you accomplish all these other things in the efforts to get to that you end up accomplishing all kinds of other goals as well. So I've always found that fascinating. So we used to just set like realistic goals, and not that
Right.
we set unrealistic goals, but we
Uh-huh.
set goals that are out there now that we end up actually hitting a lot of them as well. And I finally have been able to convince my staff, because my staff was always just like, no, but that's impossible. It's like, I don't care if it's impossible. It's not impossible. Let's at least give it a shot. Let's try to get there. And then what happens, like I said, is everything else that happens in the process of trying to get there.
Oh, that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Super, super powerful. And can you give an example of like one of your goals that you write down as it already has happened? If like, what's like, give an example of that.
So I'm training right now for a marathon to
Okay.
complete my first full marathon. I'm in
Nice.
pretty good shape already. I don't just want to finish the marathon. I want to finish it in less than 4 hours. So one
Nice.
of the goals that I write is I can run a marathon in under 4 hours.
Got
I
it.
can't. I've never done it, but I can run a marathon in 4 hours. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff like for me, like I have a dollar amount of what I want to be worth. So I write, I am worth this much money. My company is worth this much money with these 4 departments that we don't have yet,
Mhm.
thriving and bringing in all of the revenue. I've got already an Amazon bestselling. My Amazon bestselling book is changing the lives of public adjusters all over the world. And I can run a marathon in 4 hours. And it's beautiful. It's great to visit, you know, the 2 different countries every year because my son is now able to experience the different cultures. And that's how I write it. And when people ask me that question, I tell people, they're just like, really? You've accomplished that? It's like, no, but I'm writing as if I have already accomplished it.
100%. It's just the power of mindset that takes us to take action, right? And so
And
um,
and
that's the
it and
thing.
it makes you feel better too. That's another
Yeah.
thing that I've noticed is that I'm not as stressed to try to accomplish these things anymore. I'm more like, hey, I've already done it. You know,
Right.
it's so it makes you feel better. And another tip that I've learned, I'm part of Strategic Coach. It's a coaching workshop created by Dan Sullivan.
Uh-huh.
He calls it the gap and the gain. I think it's very beneficial for us to try to remember everything that we've also accomplished up to now. We're always looking into the future. We're always trying to see what we're going to accomplish and what we can accomplish. And we always sort of feel like we've fallen short.
Right.
Hey, I haven't done this yet. I haven't done that yet. But what happens is you end up accomplishing those things. But because your sort of vision is always changing and is
Mhm.
forever, you know, getting more and more, we forget about what we've already accomplished. So the gap and the gain is basically the gap is what you have between you and what you want to accomplish, which is constantly changing. What we need to try to stay in is actually a little bit in the past, is in the gain. Remember,
Mhm.
hey, look at Roof It Up. Look at the Roof It Up podcast. Look at everything that we've done up to now. There's all these things that we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's okay to have that. But if you stay in the part of everything that we have accomplished already, it really
Mhm.
changes your mindset as well. It makes you feel a lot better about everything that you've accomplished.
Super powerful. And you're so right. It's especially, I think, an entrepreneur and especially like a CEO, it's so easy to just always look at like what you have yet to accomplish. It's so easy to forget to stop and look back and see how much you've climbed, right?
Yep.
And just to be back to being thankful and to, because if not, it's like you're reaching goals that you wanted to reach, but they're never enough. So that you feel
Never.
this unsatisfaction in your life. And that's a really horrible place
Mhm.
to be in life. I really think life can be a place that's absolutely, it's hard, it's tough, but beautiful, right? And I
Yeah.
think it's the embracing the moments of saying, okay, like I have climbed this mountain. There is a lot more mountains to climb, but let me look back and wow, how far have we come? And just really being thankful for that. Again, that mindset of like being thankful and, will really impact everything that we do, right? We're just
Uh,
happier individuals, happier parents, happier spouses, happier owners. And that is truly what impacts people's lives. That's kind of what our mission is, Saenz Global. We always say that it's not about doing admin, it's about letting our business owners, right, that we work with, gain back time so that they can enjoy life again. And
You're
when they're enjoying life, they're way better people to work with.
you're changing people's lives,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the admin role is so important. I was talking to a business owner just yesterday where he's trying to make his first hire and he's not sure where he wants that person to be. And I'm like, dude, you just need an assistant.
Yeah.
Like, just get somebody. I said, then you sort of learn to do it. So what you guys are doing by providing that service to other entrepreneurial companies and roofers and whatever, and all these different companies, it's an amazing thing that you guys are doing. You are changing lives, whether your staff knows it or whether your clients know it or not. You're helping them now take these things off of their plate so that they can focus on bigger and better things to better themselves, their families, their companies, and everybody around them.
100%. We're always like, our goal is to close the tabs in your brain, right? Like how you have a bunch of tabs open on your computer.
Yeah.
It seems super overwhelming. Our job is to close tabs so that when they get up in the morning, they feel refreshed. There's just one tab open. And that's our mission. So we love it and definitely awesome. Okay. So is there something in, I think you kind of already said it, what's the misconception within the industry, but actually would love if you can kind of share about like who your ideal person would be for you to work with, right? And like if you can speak directly to them, and then also your handles, like where can people get a hold of you? How can they connect? And if there was anything that you would say, if like this was your last day, I know this sounds morbid, if this was your last day, what is that you would want to share with people about life? Yeah.
So it's not morbid. My phone, for those that can't see, it says it's a skull. It looks bad, but it says Memento Mori, which every time I open my phone, that basically says to remember death. I think it's important that we remember that we can die any second now, as morbid as that may sound.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's 100% true.
If there's anything that I would like to add, like ideal client wise, to answer this question, also take you back to the previous question, which is what my number one goal is. My number one goal, not just for 2023, but we call it the big, hairy, audacious goal, your BHAG. My number one goal is to stop people from asking the question, what is that? And by what is that is when I tell people that I'm a public adjuster, 80% of the time people tell me, well, what is that? I never knew that existed. So my goal with Commercial Claims Advocate, with my company Elite Resolutions, with the YouTube channel, with everything that we're doing, is to get our industry out there to the point where people no longer ask that question because everybody already knows what a public adjuster is. So my ideal client right now, although with the Commercial Claims Advocate, with the courses that we do, are other public adjusters and other people in the claims industry. My ideal client with Elite Resolutions is different. Those are the relationships that I'm trying to build with contractors, roofing contractors, general contractors, people in any of the trades. Obviously, people who are just filing claims, a lot of real estate investors that we're looking for who own, large commercial buildings or various residential homes. Those are the ideal clients with that.
And are you in a specific area or are you nationwide?
Yeah, so we're in major scale mode right now. We finally have been able to hire, probably, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of a business. And whether you have this person or not, Thais, you're going to want to have this person. But it's that integrator sort of COO, which takes away the staff laughs at me because they say I'm always in the clouds, right? Because I'm always just visualizing, reading, educating. We're the visionary, right? And we finally have been able to make that higher. So we're in major scale mode. So we are located in Florida, Texas, California. We're going to branch out now into Oklahoma as well. And we don't just offer claim services. We offer estimating services. We offer contents services. We offer services to other public adjusting firms to help them with the mortgage company process. So we have different avenues of revenue that we are in the process of growing as well. So, I guess my target and who I'm looking for, it's a little spread out. It's targeted based on each company. But we're just in major scale mode right now. And I'm really excited of what's to come. And I'm really excited about my big, hairy, audacious goal because, I'm just sick and tired of people asking me what a public adjuster is. And I'm hoping that I can do everything that I can possible to change that, which is the reason why I asked you to be on your podcast. And I'm not afraid to admit it.
No, we wanted you on the podcast anyway. So it was like you asked first. We're like, you beat us to the punch. You were already on our list to ask. So we were super, super happy. Okay. So Vince, okay. So people, let's say, where are they going to get a hold of you? Like, let's say they want to contact you. Where should they go?
So we've got the YouTube channel. The Commercial Claims Show is on YouTube, right? So you can catch all of our content. We always have content Wednesday, but Mondays is our podcast where we usually interview a guest. Wednesday is a solo show with myself or one of our other coaches, Jeremy Lavelle. And then Friday we have like the recap show. And then we've got like clips as well. We have the commercialclaimsadvocate.com where you can check out all of our events that we have throughout the year. By the way, this year we're having our Advocates United event in Dallas in March. Nice. We're having it in Los Angeles in Q2. We're having it in New York in Q3. And then the big one that we have every year is in Miami in Q4. So keep an eye out for all of that. 305. Got to bring it back home every year. Awesome. And eliteresolutions.com. We just relaunched our new design website where we are in the works of doing a lot within that website, but it's a killer website already. So you can check out eliteresolutions.com. We're always accepting applications for any other public adjusters that want to come in. And then obviously just relationships with contractors so that we can continue to really just, work the claims industry as best we can. It's all based on a lot of processes, a lot of systems, making sure that we recover the monies that we need on our insurance claims. But it's fun. Got a lot going on.
I love, first of all, if you haven't seen Vince yet, you need to go check out his social platforms. You can feel the vibe that he brings. So even on this podcast right now, I'm literally like, I am in awe of you, right? It's just like you just bring this energy of like really motivational. Like you are the person that if I'm going to war, I would want you on my team because you're going to be there and go like, guys, come on, let's do this. We got this. You are just, I think by nature, and then also you've seen like really something you mentioned is like my value to grow. You're really intentional. You're intentional about the life you have. And that helps people get up every morning with a whole different mindset about life, right? That it's a gift. Even like what you showed me on your phone, it's reminding that death is at any waking moment. And sometimes we live as if we're invincible and death will not hit at our door. And so you take for granted so much. You take for granted your family, the abilities that you have. And it's so easy to live a life where you're totally pessimistic or like everything is woe is me or a victim mentality. But when I look at you, you are definitely not a victim. You are definitely one that is taking life by literally the horns and you're saying, let's live this life. So it's very, very motivational to see. You are definitely the type of, business owner, leader that this world needs more of. I really feel like you are not just making an impact. Like you said, yes, you're helping PAs, but you are helping PAs and so many more. Remember what life is about. Like, I love how you said one of your things is you're going to run a marathon. Like, it's remembering we can love our jobs, but we also need to have things outside of our jobs, right? What you're doing. So thank you for being on our podcast. We really, really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. That was like the nicest thing. And I'm getting chills. Like that's too much right there, but I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. That was so nice.
Again, we are going to post everything about Vince on the bottom. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, all the information to his handles will be there. So select on his link, follow him. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. But Vince, thanks for being on our podcast. We hope to have you back again. And seriously, it was really great to have you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Thais. Thank you so much for having me.